Package managers are one of the most important components of a Linux system. They are what allows you to install, update, and manage the applications installed on your system, as well as their dependencies. When you look online, people often compare them based on their speed. So you see them complain that the package manager is slow, and the one that they are using currently is super fast, better than anything else, and you should switch to your favorite distro. And of course, speed is quite important, but is it actually what makes a package manager good? Well, I don't really think so, and I'd like to show you what is actually important in a package manager. So, features. A package manager doesn't need that many, but they can come in handy when you need them. Let's example a few of them, basing them on a few projects. We will start off with Nala, a front-end app that aims to modernize it and make it more accessible. It has many nice features, such as the first one here, Fetch. So this is just their name for automatically selecting the best mirrors for a given user. That replaces the need to manually go through the available mirrors and kind of manually select what you feel would be the best, or even testing each mirror out yourself to see which one is the fastest. This just does it for you. Okay, so the next nice thing, history. It is something that many package managers have, but is missing from some others, at least partially. So Nala brings this history command that allows you to see what commands for Nala you run in the past. It gives each transaction a number, and together with the undo feature, it allows you here, you can see, to just undo any transaction from the past. For example, as you can see, you can uninstall LibreOffice, for example, or maybe you installed dependencies for a project that you were trying to build and now you don't remember what you actually installed. So that can be really nice. And of course, a specific history command isn't required for this type of behavior. For example, the package manager has a log file located at, if I remember correctly, /var/log. Here you can see pacman.log, and it has all the commands that you have run, but also the output of all of those commands, which can make it a little worse to look at and see what you actually run yourself and what is just pacman output. So that's very nice. Now, there's also another approach to a kind of history, and that is snapshots and generations. So here you can see a screenshot of the NixOS generations, and this is a screenshot of a virtual machine that I have made, and this is part of the grab menu once you are booting into your system, and you can choose into which generation you want to boot. So for example, let's say on generation 15 I installed Firefox, and then let's say generation 16 was some kind of update, and that update broke my system and it doesn't boot, which is obviously a shame. And for example, the history of Nala wouldn't really be able to save us from that. So here we can just choose to boot into generation 15 or maybe 14 before even we installed the program, and just boot into that and maybe try to try to understand what the problem in our current generation was, or just simply move along, try another day to update, and pray that that day it will work. And of course, you don't need a separate package manager feature to achieve snapshots. You can, for example, use Snapper or Timeshift, just any kind of snapshot manager for Btrfs. You can also create snapshots manually, but obviously the built-in function will be kind of nicer because it will play into the package manager better. It will make automatic generations after each update here with Nix. Nix also has commands to manage these generations, for example, to delete the ones that are no longer really required because you don't really want to store that many generations. They take some space on your computer. So I think that this kind of generation system is the future. And yeah, so for now it's obviously not something that you can see on most distros, but I think that's changing. So obviously Nix, I don't think Nix is going to become a really popular distribution. However, we see something like Ubl project. If it's going to load here. So these are custom images of the Silver Ubl. So it is a image, so kind of generation-based distro that allows you to manage your whole system based on that generations system. The next thing, which is kind of a feature, but not really, is the ease of creation of packages. So I'm going to demonstrate it mainly on Arch Linux and their package build system. So package build is a system to create packages for Arch Linux based on variables defined in a single file. So here you can see some of the variables that you have to provide. There are also some optional ones. So a package build describes, for example, things like the version or the dependencies, but also the process of installation. So we can see, for example, let's see a random package build. Let's open it here. Okay, so we have the page for NetBeans C++. So it's a IDE. We see here the dependencies, and let's go here to see the actual package build. Okay, so as you can see, this is a pretty simple system. So we have here the package name, the version, the kind of minor release. So we have a short description, the architectures that it supports, the URL of the project, the license that the user has to accept while using the software, its dependencies, what the package actually provides. For example, if we had two versions of an app, perhaps one with some custom patches or just a development version from Git, for those packages to not conflict, we have these two variables, so provides and conflicts. So this describes what kind of binary the package actually provides, and this is just the conflict, so I think that's pretty self-explanatory. So replaces, this is also kind of the same thing, but it's more related to I think when a package name gets changed so that the user gets notified of the change. So we have, but don't hold me accountable on that because I'm not that sure. Here, for example, we have the source for the package. So as you can see, and that's what the user is going to grab and install on their system. So in this case, it's an SH installer. And then here I have the actual installation process defined. And yeah, it's pretty simple. It's basically what you would normally run when building a package from source, but just put in a file for anyone to use automatically, thanks to the make package system of Arch Linux. However, this is not something that's exclusive to Arch Linux. It's also, for example, on Alpine Linux. So this is basically the same thing, but just for the APK package manager that exists on Alpine. And now both of these systems are kind of base for packages to get into the official repositories of these projects. So in terms of Arch Linux, there's going to be here the AUR, the Arch User Repository. Now, this is not really an official repository, just a bunch of links to these packet builds that the users can pull from. And for Alpine, this is the basic mechanism that the testing repository is built on. That's also how users can contribute to the project. Now, with Arch, it's kind of more open, whereas I'm pretty sure that Alpine's is more kind of controlled by the Alpine team, and it's just maintained in tandem with the community, rather than the AUR, which of course has moderators, but is mainly just ruled by the community. Now, the last thing that I would like to talk about in this video is readability. So, new users, they will usually gravitate to graphical package managers in the form of an app store, because that's what they know. That's what also provides them a lot of information. And obviously, for a command line interface to provide that much information, for example, like screenshots, is not really achievable. But that doesn't mean that readability should be abandoned and we should just make really obscure outputs of package managers, because who cares? People are still going to use them. So here I will demonstrate kind of a bad example and a better example. Okay, so before the command actually outputs anything, let's talk about the prompt. So this is the Nix command for updating. So obviously we invoke sudo access for the root. That's something that you want to do for pretty much every package manager. So that's good. Then Nix as rebuild. That's, I think, also kind of a good way to represent what the command will actually do. And then switch will just switch you into the new generation. So we talked about the generations feature of the Nix package manager earlier. And then upgrade just tells it to download new versions of the Nix channels. So that's going to be the repositories and the packages. So overall, I think the command required to run is good. It just gets worse from now on. Dear God, why is this going so slowly? Okay, so as you saw, we have the unpacking channels. What does basically mean that the channels were getting downloaded, so the repositories were getting updated, so that the package manager could know that there are new versions of applications and their dependencies ready to download, which is fine. I think that that was okay. However, there's just one thing missing there and here. there's no progress bars, which is like totally like weird. Why would you not have progress bars in a program that downloads things from the internet and kind of builds your system? If like you would want to know how much time is left, maybe how much progress you have already done, how much is yet to do. But okay. I guess the developers thought that was necessary, that was hard to implement, but that's still something that should be added. So next thing. So here we see the versions of the applications that are actually getting updated. And I think this is also written terribly, so we have seen the full kind of path to /make/store, a bunch of garbage, dash name of the application and version. So when you're actually looking at this output, it takes quite a while to go through and see what the program is actually going to download, which is bad for readability. Okay, and I think we can stop for now, because it will pretty much just finish from now on. It will just be like all building next and kind of preparing the system for the new configuration. However, in this video it's not going to work, as yeah, I got some errors because of my mismanagement. Okay, so now that I've bullied Nix for a little bit, let's have a kind of better example. Okay, so this was very quick, but let's go through it once again, perhaps on half speed, or even quarter speed. Okay, so we have the first thing, the command. So it's sudo, so that's the invoking the root privilege, pacman, so the name of the package manager, and now this mess. Now, pacman has these kind of short commands, which obviously are nice if you know them and just want to type them quickly, but to actually understand them, it's a mess. I mean, dash capital S, two lowercase y's. See, just one y is required for an update, and then u. Right. So apart from that, this example is going to get better. Okay, so now we have the synchronization of the repositories. So we see the size of the repository and how much of it is left. We have the download speeds. We have progress bars, which I think for downloading repositories is not that necessary, but if we actually let the update go through, we would also see these progress bars for each package, at which point I think that's important to know. So a user just seeing like package names go by is not gonna really understand what's going on. So this kind of laying this out nicely to fit the terminal, I think that's also great. Okay, so now we can see the package names and the version to which they are going to be upgraded. We see the total download size and the total install size, so after the packages get installed locally, and then the net upgrade size, so that's just compared to the current versions of these apps. Right, it asks also to proceed with installation. Now that's also something that was bad with Nix. It didn't ask for any confirmation. Like, of course, sudo is gonna ask you to give it your admin password, but to use your root password, but it doesn't actually have any further confirmation in it. So that's also something good with Pacman. I mean, this is such a simple thing that I shouldn't be praising, but Nix's readability is just so bad that, yeah, there are so many things to complain about. Okay, so in this example, the update is really not going to get done, but so the process of downloading the packages would basically just look like the downloading of the repositories. And then afterwards, we would also have some preparation for the actual installation of the packages and some other like error messages, etc., which are honestly just fine. There's nothing very good about them, but they're not bad. Okay, so another thing that's very important in Package Manager, in my opinion, is going to be colors. So let me switch to the correct scene. Okay. So if you want to search for a package with Pacman, we'll also be able to see this. So we have here the repository highlighted purple. We have just the package name in white and the green version. We have also the status in blue. So I think color also helps a lot in the understanding of the output, because if we just, for example, had just these package names, nothing else, just in a list one by one, I don't think that would be that great. Like, it would be hard to read through the entire wall of text, and of course we can always like type it through, for example, like grep. But is that like actually good? I mean, we shouldn't have to use external tools just to make it more readable. And also grep, as you can see, also butchers it a little bit because of the pipe. But yeah, the colors are gone now. So now that you have watched the video, feel free to discuss it in the comments. Maybe you have some features that you really like, or maybe that you would want to see implemented in Package Manager. So if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. This was my first video, so there's been some troubles. I had to record a lot of stuff because of stuttering. So yeah, hopefully it will get better in the future. Bye.